snow fell like silent ash around them, melting the moment it touched her skin. Mara's breath came in sharp bursts as she backed against the stone wall of the castle corridor. The cold bit into her palms, but nothing compared to the frost in the eyes of the Alpha King standing before her. Aldric towered over her, his shadow swallowing the lantern light, his scent thick with dominance and danger. She should have feared him. She did fear him. Yet her body answered him in ways she could not control. His punishment was meant to break her for defying his orders. Instead, it pushed her closer to something forbidden. Aldric's hand rose, not rough as she expected, but slow, deliberate. His knuckles brushed her jaw. Heat shot through her body. Mara's knees weakened. His voice dropped to a low command barely above a growl. "Look at me." She did. And everything inside her trembled. His power wrapped around her like a dark promise. She knew she was not supposed to want him. She knew desire for a king like him was a dangerous path. But Aldric's breath touched her neck, warm and possessive. And Mara realized something she could not escape. She wanted her punishment. She wanted him. Hello listeners, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is a dark Christmas werewolf romance filled with tension, danger, and desire. Before we begin, remember to like this video, subscribe, and comment where you are watching from. Your support means everything. Let's get into it. Mara felt the king's breath move away from her skin, but its mark stayed on her body long after he stepped back. Aldric turned away as if the moment meant nothing to him. His cloak swayed behind him, brushing the stone floor like midnight sliding into shadow. Mara's legs shook until she steadied herself with a hand on the wall. He had summoned her to the northern wing of the fortress, a place few wolves dared to enter. The walls held cold secrets, stories of warriors who served him, betrayed him, and vanished under winter snow. Mara did not belong here. She was only a healer from the southern valley. She came to the castle to serve for one winter season, never expecting to catch the eye of the Alpha King. She wished she never had. Aldric stopped at the arched doorway leading to the balcony. Wind pushed in, carrying white flakes and the sound of distant howls. He did not turn when he spoke. "You disobeyed my order this morning." Mara pressed her fingers into her palms. "I only helped the boy. His fever was high. He needed." "You left your assigned quarters without permission," Aldric said. "My rules are not suggestions, Mara of Rivermere." The way he said her name made her chest tighten. Mara walked toward him even though she knew she should keep her distance. Snow dusted the ground beyond the balcony, covering the courtyard in a white glow. Christmas lanterns hung from the high trees, their soft gold light drifting like small stars. Beauty lived inside the king's territory, but danger watched from every corner. Aldric finally looked at her. His silver eyes were unreadable. Mara always wondered if they were born cold or if years of ruling shaped them that way. "You will not put yourself at risk again," he said. "It was not a risk," Mara replied. "I only—" "You touched the boy without gloves." Mara frowned. "I don't need gloves. My healing works better with direct touch. Spread scent." Aldric stepped closer. "Your scent." Her breath caught. His body was near enough to warm her skin again. She wished her heart would remain calm, but Aldric always made it race. He lifted a strand of her hair, letting it fall. "You are not marked," he said. Any unmated wolf can react to your scent. A sick boy is still a wolf. You forget these things because you come from a valley that lives like humans. I didn't forget, Mara whispered. You disobeyed, he said, his voice low. And there is a price for that. Fear trickled through her, but something else followed it. Something warm. Something she tried to silence. What will you do? She asked. Aldric studied her for a long moment. Snow drifted behind him like falling white embers. Your punishment begins tonight, he said. Mara swallowed. I do not fear you. You should, he answered, stepping close enough for their bodies to almost touch. Because you feel things you should not feel. And so do I. Her pulse thudded in her ears. But Aldric turned away, leaving her breathless. Mara returned to her chamber in silence, though her thoughts fought inside her mind. She sat before the small mirror, trying to calm herself. Her reflection looked back with wide eyes, cheeks flushed from the king's nearness. He is only the alpha, she whispered as if the words would control her heart. He is only your ruler. You feel nothing. But her voice wavered. She could not lie to herself. Aldric's presence always drew something deep inside her, something powerful and confusing. She had tried to ignore it since the first day she entered the fortress. A knock sounded at the door. He straightened. Come in. A guard stepped inside. Younger than most, with a straight posture and dark hair pulled back neatly. She recognized him as Rin, one of Aldric's trusted watchers. The king has given instructions for your punishment, Rin said. Mara's stomach tightened. What must I do? You will not leave your chamber until sunrise. He placed a folded cloak on her bed. Except when the king or his guard summons you. You must be ready at all times. That is all. It is only the beginning, Rin replied. He also ordered you to wear this. Mara unfolded the cloak. It was black with silver edges, soft to the touch. A garment worn by wolves under the king's direct protection. Or wolves under his control. Her breath trembled. Why must I wear this? I do not question him. Rin bowed and stepped out. Mara sat on the bed, the cloak resting on her lap. She touched its fabric, feeling the weight of the king's decision. She did not know if she was being punished or claimed. She barely slept. Every sound in the corridor made her rise. Every breath of wind through the window made her think Aldric was near. She hated how her body reacted to the thought of him. She hated how she waited for his presence. Near midnight the door opened again. Aldric entered. He closed the door behind him. The moon gave him a silver glow, highlighting the sharp lines of his face. He looked at the cloak in her hands, then at her. You should have worn it, he said. Mara stood. I did not know the reason. You do not need to know. You only need to obey. His voice was deep, controlled. Mara held the cloak tighter. Why do you punish me like this? She asked. I helped a child. You broke my rule, Aldric said. But that is not why I am here. He moved toward her, stopping inches away. Your scent changed after our moment in the corridor. Her breath quickened. I don't know what you mean. You do. His gaze locked onto hers. And that is why this is no longer simple punishment. Her chest rose and fell faster. A mixture of fear and something darker rushed through her mind. What do you want from me? she whispered. Aldric lifted her chin with 2 fingers. The truth, he said. Because I already know mine. The air thickened as he leaned closer. Mara's heart thrashed. She felt the edge of something dangerous forming between them. Something that could break her or change her forever. And in that moment she realized the truth he wanted. The truth she could no longer hide. He wanted him back. Mara stepped back, breaking the intense pull between them. Her breath trembled as Aldric's fingers dropped from her chin, but his presence filled the room like a tide she could not escape. You should rest, Aldric said quietly. Your punishment is simple for now. But simple does not mean easy. Mara forced her mind to clear. Why are you doing this? I did not harm anyone. You disobeyed, he replied. When a wolf defies the alpha, discipline must follow. But your case is different. Different how? Her voice was unsteady. Aldric did not speak. Instead, he stepped past her and picked up the black cloak she had refused to wear. He held it in front of her, the heavy fabric draping from his hands. Put it on. Mara stiffened. I want to understand first. Put it on, Aldric repeated, his voice deep and final. She hesitated, then slowly slipped her arms into the cloak. It settled over her shoulders with surprising weight, pulling her posture straight. Aldric clasped the silver fastening at her collarbone, his fingers brushing her skin. She tried not to react, but her pulse betrayed her. The king inhaled, eyes narrowing. Your heartbeat changes when I touch you. Mara swallowed, stepping back as soon as he let go. I can't help how my body reacts. You can, he said. You choose not to. That isn't true. Aldric's gaze sharpened. Then look at me and tell me you don't feel this. She lifted her chin. This is only fear. You're the Alpha King. Anyone would react. His expression dropped to something unreadable. It was the same cold stillness she saw the first week she arrived at the fortress. The look of a ruler who made decisions without emotion, without hesitation. Except tonight, emotion lingered beneath the surface. Aldric stepped toward her again. She felt his power before he even touched her. His presence pressed against her senses, a quiet warning of the strength he carried. Fear? He asked. No. This is not fear. Mara stayed silent. Aldric reached behind her neck and lifted her hair away from her shoulders. The cold air touched her skin before his warm breath followed. Her spine tensed. He leaned in slightly, tracing the line where a wolf's mate mark would sit. You respond, he whispered. Every time. Her legs weakened. She stepped away quickly. I can't stay close to you, she said. You confuse me. Aldric's eyes softened by one fraction. You confuse yourself. The king turned and walked toward the window, lifting the curtain with one hand. Snow fell heavier now, thick flakes coating the courtyard. Lantern lights flickered through the storm. Do you know why wolves celebrate Christmas here? Aldric asked, still facing the window. Mara shook her head. It is the one night when the old moon spirits are said to watch our world, he explained. They see the truth inside wolves. They judge what we hide. Desire. Rage. Loyalty. Rebellion. Mara listened, her heart slowly calming. Aldric turned back to her. And this year they will see you. Why me? You have stirred something in this fortress, he said. And in me. I do not enjoy losing control. Her eyes widened. You aren't losing control. You do not know what I feel, Aldric said. Nor should you. Mara stepped closer. Then you entered my territory with calm steps and soft hands, he said. I thought you would be like every healer that served before you. Silent. Obedient. Forgettable. He paused. But you are not forgettable. You are loud even when you do not speak. A strange warmth filled her chest. You challenge me, he said. You question me. You do not fear me the way others do. And that is dangerous. Dangerous for who? She asked softly. For both of us. A knock echoed at the door. Aldric tensed instantly. Enter. Rin stepped inside, bowed, then raised his head. My king, the Eastern Patrol reported movement near the barriers. They request your presence. Aldric's brows lowered. Rogues. They are not sure. But the scent is unfamiliar. Aldric looked at Mara for a moment. Something unspoken passed between them. Something she could not read. You will stay in this room, Aldric said firmly. No matter what noise you hear. Mara nodded. Be careful. Rin glanced between them, eyes widening slightly as if he sensed the tension. But he said nothing and followed the king out. Aldric paused at the threshold. Mara, he said without turning back. Do not remove the cloak. And do not open this door. Then he left. Hours passed. Wind battered the walls. Distant growls echoed from the forest beyond the fortress. Mara paced in circles, her mind heavy with worry. She had seen wounded wolves before. She had heard stories of rogue attacks. She knew how fast danger could strike. When the wind finally calmed, soft footsteps echoed outside her door. Mara rose from the bed, heart racing. Aldric, she whispered. The door opened. But it wasn't Aldric. A man she had never seen before stepped inside. He wore dark leather armor and smelled of wet soil and rust. His eyes were bright gold, an unusual shade that marked him as a wolf from the far borders. Mara backed away. Who are you? The stranger shut the door behind him slowly, blocking the exit. Forgive the intrusion, he said. But you are the one they whispered about. The healer under the king's watch. Her breath quickened. You shouldn't be here. This is Aldric's fortress. That is why I am here. The man tilted his head, watching her like prey. Stories travel far. Even through snow and storm. They say the Alpha King has taken interest in a woman he shouldn't touch. Mara's blood chilled. Leave. The man stepped closer. I came to see why you matter. Why a cold king would break his silence for someone like you. He reached for her. A growl ripped through the room. Aldric stood in the doorway, eyes bright with rage. The intruder froze. Aldric crossed the room in seconds, his hand gripping the stranger's throat. His claws extended, pressing against the man's skin. You entered my territory, Aldric growled. You dared approach her. The man choked. I meant no harm. I only wanted. Aldric slammed him against the wall. You do not speak her name. You do not breathe in her direction. Mara's heart pounded as Aldric lifted the intruder effortlessly, strength rippling through his arm. She had never seen him lose control like this. Fear and something else, something burning, rushed through her. Aldric's voice deepened even more. You touched her with your scent. For that you will not leave with your life. Mara stepped forward quickly. Aldric, stop. He did not hear her. His rage was too deep, too primal. Aldric, she shouted. This time he turned his head. Their eyes met. And for the first time Mara saw the truth he tried to hide. His fury came from more than duty. Came from desire. It came from something he was not ready to admit. Aldric threw the intruder aside. Guards rushed in, seizing the man and dragging him away. Aldric watched until the door shut behind them. Then he faced Mara. His chest rose with heavy breaths. His pupils were still bright, still wolf-like. You should not have spoken, he said. You were going to kill him, Mara replied. He came for you. He didn't hurt me. He tried to get close, Aldric said, stepping toward her. That is enough. Mara held her ground. You reacted like... Like what? He demanded. Like I belong to you. Silence fell between them. The storm outside quieted. Lantern lights flickered against the walls. Aldric's eyes dropped to the cloak he forced her to wear. The silver clasp glowed under the moonlight. You do not belong to me, he said slowly. But I wanted to claim you tonight. Her breath caught. Claim. A word that carried weight. A word that could change everything. Aldric moved closer. This punishment was meant to keep distance between us. But it is doing the opposite. Her heart shook. Aldric, she whispered. He exhaled, low and conflicted. This is no longer punishment, he said. This is something I cannot control. He lifted her chin again, softer than before. And that is the true danger. Aldric's hand hovered at Mara's chin, barely touching her skin. His breath was unsteady, something she had never seen from the Alpha King. His control, always firm, always unshaken, cracked in front of her. Mara felt the shift in him. Something fierce. Something restrained. Something that wanted her even though he knew he shouldn't. Aldric, she whispered. He closed his eyes briefly. Do not say my name like that. Why? Because it makes it harder to resist you. Mara's chest tightened. Then stop resisting. His eyes snapped open, full of conflict. I am your ruler, he said. I command hundreds. I carry the weight of this land. I do not have the freedom to want someone the way I want you. Mara stepped closer, the cloak brushing against her legs. You keep saying I confuse you. But maybe you confuse yourself. You want to protect me, but you also want to punish me. Which one is real? Both, Aldric whispered, voice rough. And that is the problem. He turned away sharply as if the nearness burned him. Mara watched his shoulders rise and fall with slow breaths. The room was quiet except for the faint whistle of cold wine through the window. Finally he spoke again. The intruder was sent, Aldric said. Someone wanted to test my defenses. Someone wanted to see if you mattered. Why me? Mara asked. Because your presence changed the balance in this fortress, Aldric replied. He turned to face her again. And because I made the mistake of showing interest. Mara's heartbeat quickened. Why is that a mistake? Because interest grows, he said. And desire becomes weakness. She shook her head. Desire is not weakness. It's truth. Aldric studied her with an intensity that made her breath tremble. He took one step toward her, then another. "If I touch you," he said quietly, "I will not stop." Mara didn't move. "Then touch me." His jaw tightened. "You do not know what you're inviting." "I do," she said. "You want me. I feel it every time you get close." Aldric's restraint snapped. He reached for her waist, pulling her against him. Mara's breath left her. His body radiated heat, strength, hunger. His face moved close, forehead resting against hers. "You should fear this," he whispered. "I am not gentle. I am not fragile," she answered. A low sound escaped him. Part growl, part exhale. His hands slid up her back, gripping the cloak he had forced her to wear. "I made you wear this to keep you safe from others. But now I see it only brought you closer to me." Mara's fingers traced his chest, feeling the steady thump of his heart beneath layers of muscle. "Then stop fighting what's already happening." He brushed his nose against her cheek. "I could claim you tonight." She froze. Claiming was not light affection. It was binding. It was permanent. It changed lives, destinies, futures. Aldric felt her hesitation and stepped back instantly. "You see," he said, "you are not ready. And I cannot risk forcing anything." She shook her head quickly. "Aldric, that's not." A loud horn blasted from the courtyard. Aldric's head whipped toward the window. Another intrusion. But this time his expression changed. Harder. Sharper. "They are not after the fortress," he said. "They are after you." Mara's breath caught. "Why? I've done nothing." "That does not matter," Aldric said. "You are connected to me now. That makes you a target." Footsteps thundered down the corridor. Wolves shouted orders. A deep rumble of growls carried through the walls. Aldric grabbed Mara's wrist. "We must move. Now." She followed him as he led her through a dim hallway lit with torches. Snow blew in through broken windows, leaving white trails across the floor. The fortress felt alive with chaos. Guards rushed past them, some shifting into wolves mid-run. "Aldric," a soldier barked. "The southern gate has been breached." Aldric tightened his grip on Mara. "Take her to the hidden chamber." The soldier shook his head. "The intruders are already near the west wing. They know where she is." Aldric growled low. "Then I will end this myself." He turned to Mara. "Stay behind me. No matter what you see." They entered the courtyard. Snow fell heavy, covering footprints as soon as they formed. Shadows moved between the trees and stone walls. Figures stepped into the open. 3 men, all with the same strange golden eyes as the intruder from before. Their leader smirked. "Alpha King. And the healer you protect." Aldric pushed Mara behind him. "You will not touch her." The leader tilted his head. "Then why don't you claim her? Mark her. Make her yours. Or are you too afraid of what that means?" Aldric's muscles tensed. Mara could feel his rage like heat radiating through the air. "This ends now," Aldric said. The intruders lunged. The fight was fast and violent. Aldric shifted partially, claws extending as he slashed through the first attacker. Snow exploded under their feet as they collided. The second intruder swung a blade, but Aldric caught his arm and twisted until the bone cracked. The third intruder charged toward Mara. "Mara, run!" Aldric shouted. She stumbled backward, but her foot slipped on the snow. Before she hit the ground, the attacker grabbed her cloak and pulled her upright, pinning her against him. "Let her go," Aldric roared. The leader pressed a knife to her throat. "Claim her, Alpha. Mark her before us. Prove she is yours. Then we will leave." Mara froze. Aldric's chest rose and fell with violent breaths. He was torn between rage and something deeper. "You are doing this for the wrong reason," Mara whispered, voice shaking slightly. "If you mark me now because of them, you will regret it." Aldric closed his eyes briefly, as if the weight of the moment pushed against him. Snow clung to his hair, his cloak, his lashes. He looked like a king torn between instinct and duty. Then he opened his eyes. And Mara saw his decision. "You misunderstand," Aldric said coldly. "I do not need your demand to claim her." His claws extended. "And I do not need permission to kill you." Aldric lunged. His speed was brutal. His claws dug into the intruder's arm, forcing him to drop the blade. Mara fell forward, and Aldric caught her with one arm while striking the attacker with the other. Within seconds, all three intruders were on the ground, defeated or unconscious. The courtyard went silent. Mara stood trembling as Aldric turned to her, his face still sharp with rage but his eyes softer. "You are safe," he said. She stepped into him, her hands pressing against his chest. "You risked everything." "I always will," he answered. She looked up at him. Snowflakes settled on her hair. Her lips parted and Aldric leaned down, his breath warm against her mouth. "This is not punishment anymore," he whispered. "This is desire." Mara's voice was quiet. "Then stop holding back." He kissed her. It was slow at first, then deeper, stronger. His hands held her waist, pulling her close as if he had waited all winter for this moment. The world around them faded. The snow. The lanterns. The fortress. The danger. All that remained was the heat between them. When he pulled away, his forehead rested against hers again. "Mara," he said softly, "if I claim you, there is no turning back." She touched his jaw. "I don't want to turn back." Aldric breathed out, the sound full of both relief and surrender. "Then let this be the start," he said. "Not of punishment, but of something dangerous and real." Mara smiled faintly. "A Christmas with the cold Alpha King." He smirked slightly, a rare softness on his lips. "And a desire neither of us can escape." Snow fell around them as the moon rose higher, watching silently, just as Aldric once said it would. The old spirits saw truth that night. And the truth was simple. A cold king melted. A healer awakened. And a dangerous desire found a home in both their hearts.